Hey everybody, it's Sophie and Marco dish out on the movies, and now we're talking about episode 7 of Better Call Saul, which aired last night, and it was called Something Stupid. And there's a reason for that, I'll tell you in a minute. This episode begins with a split screen between Jimmy and Kim, shown side by side. Not only is it an effort to depict how their lives are going in different directions, but more importantly, it is also a fast forward time jump of 8 months. I found that out by looking at his PPD agreements and read the dates and read them all the way to the end of the scene.
I actually found out at first because somebody did. Uh, there's somebody that does like predictions for Better Call Saul episodes, and he analyzed the promo, and there was something about the promo I can't remember what it was, and he's like, maybe they're gonna do a time jump, and I thought, oh, there's no way they're gonna do that. So
My question is, what's the rush? But anyway, moving along, during this scene of the time jump of 8 months, Kim moves her Mesa Verde papers. Remember, there were tons of boxes of them in their apartment out to her new office. And her cast gets removed, of course. And she starts accumulating these trophies for, I guess, each Mesa Verde bank that is built. I'm not really sure because I didn't read what it said. I don't even know if I could and if that even revealed why she was getting those trophies. But she has, I think at the end, she had at least 3 or more. But anyway, and Jimmy, well, he's on the other side of the screen. What's he doing? Well, he escalates his phone selling business. And he's selling them out of a van now. And in each phone box, he tucks a new business card which says, quote, need to call? Buy from Saul. Saul Goodman. And then it gives his phone number. Well, during this initial split screen scene, the song Something Stupid is playing, which is what I was saying that is the name of the episode, and that's why it's called that. And it was originally sung by Frank Sinatra and his daughter Nancy, years and years and years ago. And I just wanted to tell you what the following first 4 lines are. Maybe that would be an indicator of why they picked that song to play along this with this split screen scene. Quote, I know I stand in line until you think you have the time to spend an evening with me. And if we go someplace to dance, I know that there's a chance you won't be leaving with me. Unquote.
so I guess that's all about. I guess that's all about how she's become like a career woman, and she's not coming home at a certain time, and so he's all by himself, and she's getting to bed like late at night because she's working all night and all that kind of crap.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that, but it shows
Sure there is.
their lives are going in 2 different directions and they're
Because
not
she's a Chuck
working
clone.
together and doing things together. Well, we talked all about that last week, but anyway, this entire episode of Something Stupid is devoted to Jimmy, Kim, Huel. Remember, Huel is Jimmy's bodyguard now, and Hector and his doctor, Gus, and Mike and the German laborers at the meth lab they're building under the laundry. In fact, one scene in particular shows the Germans being driven to the laundry while another famous Burl Ives song is playing in the background, called Big Rock Candy Mountain. the first four lines of this song, which is a little goofy and strange, and it's actually classified as a children's song. Quote, "Oh, the buzzin' of the bees in the cigarette trees, the soda water fountain where the lemonade springs and the bluebird sings, and that big rock candy mountain." End quote. Now, I know who Burl Ives is. He's passed away 1,000,000 years ago, but it sounds like somebody took meth when they wrote the words to the song. I don't know. I can't figure out.
Sophie.
Well, I can't figure out why they picked this. It's actually a cute little song, but I didn't care for it when they played it
I didn't
at
like
all.
it. I actually fast forwarded through.
Yeah, it almost made me not want to watch the scene. I didn't like it.
I thought it was very repetitive in tone.
Well, but if you read the words to the song, it is a very cute song, and if you look it up, it has 1,000,000 versions of it sung by, and this was not this. I don't. Did he sing this song? I don't remember. The Something Stupid song was not sung by Frank and Nancy
I have no
Sinatra.
idea. I don't pay attention to that kind of crap.
Well, I do because
Sophie.
it lends something extra to the scene, but in this case, I didn't care for it. And I don't think, well, the other people in the house cared for it either. So that's just what I want to say. Now on to Marco, who probably has a few words to say himself, and I don't think they're going to be too good.
Well, I want to reiterate why I think Kim's career is a stupid career. Is because, okay, let's go through the history of Kim. Now, she used to be a really good character, and now she's terrible. She's like my least favorite character on the show now. But let's look at how she started. She started as being a corporate slave to Chuck and Howard. She basically did everything for them, and she never really did anything revolutionary. She just did everything they said. I mean, the entirety of season 2, she literally spent in a doc review, just going through documents all night. Excuse me, that's how much of a corporate slave she is, and how she's not really that talented enough to just break away and do things on her own. And that's why she's yet again a corporate slave in this season. A glorified corporate slave, I guess, because she has a more powerful position, more powerful clientele.
Well, she's a partner. She's a partner. That right away automatically makes her more powerful.
She's still a slave, though, because she can't handle doing things on her own. She's so lazy. And, I mean, the whole reason that she got her career was because Jimmy said, "Hey, Kim, I have an idea. Me and you partner up. We start up our own firm. We do things how we want to do them. We don't have to listen to anybody." And she went along with that. Literally, her entire career is because of him. And then she got her only client because of him, Mesa Verde. You already know how he got her them, and it wasn't because of her, the way that she talked or anything, what she said. So what I'm saying is, she's not, her career is not, is built on other people, is built on Jimmy actually getting her there. And so I think that now the position she's in, it clearly shows and exposes how she's really lazy and she's not really the hard-working lawyer that people make her out to be. What do you think, Sophie? Do you agree? Can you see from the history of the way that Jimmy kind of basically founded her entire career?
Well, she had the talent already, and she does work hard, but she right now, I mean, she's not even working on the Mesa Verde. She even admitted that other people are doing. She has I never can remember the assistant, the law person helping her, and it sounds like, and they're very smart, and she's very smart, and I think they're probably doing most of the work. She said that. She said, well, I'll be able to move into this office, and I'll be able to give my other people can work on my Mesa Verde stuff, meaning she's not doing the work, other people are. And then she's supposed to be setting up a banking division. I don't know what that entails. I have no idea what that means. But she's also a partner. That takes with it a lot of responsibilities about bringing in new clients. So she's bringing in Mesa Verde. So I guess that helps with her being a partner. But she's going to be expected to bring in more clients, and they're not going to be pro bono clients. They're going to be expecting clients that pay a lot of money, because that's what it's all about. You bring in your share of clients with their share of money, and I think it's split up amongst the partners, and then of course it's divvied down to the rest of people who work there and their salaries. I think that's how it works. It's like I could be wrong, and somebody could tell me if I am.
She has the passion.
She has the passion, but I just don't.
But she's not.
She used him, but I mean, I don't think she didn't start out using him, but he got her that Mesa Verde client.
And she knows that.
And
kind of like subconsciously.
And now he is suspended. That's true. He can't do the law.
I don't know
but
if
it's
he
only
is
for,
anymore though. Is he?
Well, that's true.
Jump.
I don't know how many months it was when it
was.
I
think he's just still selling cell phones until he can get an office.
Oh,
get his
well, that could
back.
be. Yeah, now that he's paying for it himself.
Yeah.
But they were going to work together, and I think it would have worked out okay. I think.
No, it wouldn't, because she can't handle the work.
Oh.
She's not good enough of a worker. She's not hard enough of a worker to be able to do that. She can't even handle one client. She had one job, and that was to do Mesa Verde.
No, but you know what happened with that? Don't you remember? Somebody else came in there, that guy from Texas with the oil wells, and she decided to take him on too.
That was her choice.
And that was her choice, and she couldn't handle
do that
it
either. She got in a car crash.
And she wasn't getting any sleep, and she got in a car crash. And they expected her too. The Mesa Verde people, they expected her to have them as her only client.
Yeah.
Which is a little bizarre.
Well, it's not bizarre, because she told them that they would be her only client.
Oh, okay. Marco's very good at remembering little details, of which I have so much to worry about and do. I can't remember.
Well, because
everything.
I'm defending my points, because I think that this, and it's actually good writing in a way. I just don't like the way that, they basically turned her character pure evil.
Well, you can't say that. She's not pure evil, but she's
pure evil.
It really, to explain what Marco is doing, is neither one of us liked the fact that she lied to Jiminy Cricket, Jimmy, and that he's actually lying to her in a certain way about what he's doing.
Well, that's because she can't handle the truth like that. She can't handle that he's doing something that's so unorthodox and so just like she's a corporate slave. She doesn't do anything that's unconventional. She's very straight-laced.
So
she doesn't work hard though.
So we should talk about the office party.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk about her career first, to iterate my point that I think that her career is built on crap, and that she needs to really start from the bottom again and redo everything, because she's just not fit to be in the position she's in. So yeah.
Well, she'll probably, the way it's looking, she'll probably win out on the end, and he's the one who's...
Yeah, he's the one who'll suffer.
Well, he just has to go a different way. But you know, he's a very people-oriented person, and the people that she's working with are very, they're kind of snobbish and artificial, and he's, I don't think he's like that. I think he likes dealing with real people. The problem is you got to pay your bills,
Well,
and you do have to have clients that can pay.
He works a lot harder than she does.
He does work. He works constantly.
He works extremely hard, and she doesn't. And she's more powerful than him right now.
Yeah. So we better move on.
Yeah. I just want to clarify that so that anybody who listens to any of the other episodes, they can know exactly why I say that she has a stupid career right now. So anyway, this episode, I don't really have anything good to say about it either. I mean, there's nothing. It feels like filler. It's Russian storylines doing the time jump. It doesn't make sense. It's kind of boring and uneventful. I mean, do I need to say more? I'll let you talk now, Safi.
Okay, well, I don't. It is true that basically there's just a few things that happen, and they're not really big or monumental, but there's I would call this a tension building episode. There's tension building at the meth lab because a mistake was made and it caused the work to be slowed down. The guy, now I remember this, I said there's a time jump. So we just saw this last week. The Germans just arrived, and now they look bedraggled and tired and bored, and they want to go home. They even said that when the mistake is made at the meth lab, where something was knocked down and it knocked into something else, and they said, why'd you do that? We want to go home.
We don't know anything about these people to care, though.
No, we don't know. The only person we know about is Kai.
We don't even know anything about him. We just know that
he's a troublemaker.
Or
he really isn't. He just, because he's not the one that knocked the thing down at the lab.
That's the oven, Safi.
Oh, okay. Well, it was this big pole. So, I don't know what the pole was. But anyway, Mike even asked, he goes in, he can tell after work, and he talks to the head of the older guy who set everything up and measured everything. Remember that whole scene? And then Gus comes in and shakes his hand, and it's a done deal. Well, he's the head of the team, and Mike goes to see him and says people don't look very happy around here. And he already had predicted that. That's why he wanted all that entertainment brought in, because he said they would be climbing the walls. Well, they are climbing the walls anyway, because it's 8 months later, and they're not done, and they thought they'd be done by now. And so he said, well, what would happen if we sent Kai home?
They know what happened. They watched the episode. So just...
Well, I know that, but maybe.
What are your thoughts about this stuff, though?
Well, the thoughts are nothing much happened. It's just, I called a tension building episode. You have the tension at the meth lab. You have the tension between...
I don't agree at all. I don't think there's any tension at all.
Oh, I do. And then...
In fact, I think it's quite the opposite of tension.
And then there's tension between Kim and Jimmy. Of course, that's all kind of... Something happens with Huel, and we'll talk about that, I guess, in the spoilers. And all of that with the separation of Kim and Jimmy, that changes a little bit, at least right for the moment, because of Huel. And then there's also Gus and Hector. There's what's going on with him and tension with him and...
Well, you better go take care of the oven, because it's been beeping now for an entire 2 minutes.
It has?
Go take care of the oven.
Okay, and Marco will continue. I'm cooking some chicken for quiche, so I'll be right back. Marco's still talking.
So I'm gonna go into detail about...
How about Huel?
about this the German people stuff because it's very easy to fix this scene and to make it better written. It's very easy to make it a better scene. And okay, so you have this guy in a vehicle moving around, and you show him kind of moving around in the background. And then as Mike and the leader of the team are talking, you show up closer shots of him driving around and doing things. And then you start to have this kind of worrisome music. And not too worrisome, because you don't want to beat people over the head with it, but you want it to be some worrisome music playing while he's riding in the vehicle around. And Mike starts to look at him as he's going near this pole. And then as he gets closer to the pole, he asks the team leader's like, what's he doing? And the team leader kind of glances and he's like, I don't know. And as he gets closer and closer, the music grows, and then all of a sudden, huge moment, he just bashes the vehicle into the pole. And not only does the music continue to be really good, but somebody in the team gets injured, and maybe their leg gets crushed, and so they're gonna have their leg amputated, and you show stuff falling more with the music and everything. That would clearly make the scene a lot better than it was. It seemed very unexciting and very uneventful. Right, Sophie?
I guess the chicken's done, so I had to take it out.
I'll explain to you after this what I just described to everybody. I just off the top of my head improved that construction accident scene that I felt was very uneventful.
Yeah, it could have been better. Okay, well, there's an office cocktail party at Kim's new job, and she brings Jimmy. And that was one thing that happened, and that was a little long and extended. And I don't know if he got to see her office, and he had found a place that they could have an office together, which was like 4 blocks from the courthouse, which is really good, and it was really nice. And then he shows Huel the office. They show him, he goes to every part of it, all the rooms, the picture window, and they don't show who he's giving the tour to, and it ends up in the end it's Huel. It's not Kim, because you probably assume it's Kim, because it's our office that they can have together, but no, this is an office for Huel and him. and then he goes to her office party, and he's more a man of the people. I mean, he just doesn't he thinks these people are snooty.
Well, they're villains too. They're the people who, let's not forget this too, they're the people that are opposing the old folks who are now dying off.
Right.
Because they couldn't get their money right away like they should have.
Yeah. That was one thing that was never brought up either.
Yeah.
Because like all the World War II veterans,
too.
they're dying off, tons and tons every day.
That's important because
it's true.
Season 1 kind of showed that near the end, and then season 2 was heavily focused on the old folks home case.
Yeah,
and so I thought that was bad writing.
Yeah, they could have brought that up, because people talk about that with World War II veterans for real. So that would be the thing with these people. They are owed money, and they're all dying off. So that could have been brought up, and it never really was. But anyway, So he doesn't like it there. He sees her office. It's beautiful,
I don't
beautiful
like
leather
it.
furniture
I
and
think
wood.
I think it's depressing looking.
She has a mantle to a fireplace with her trophies from Mesa Verde up on the mantle, lined up there. And he actually doesn't he pick one up and looks at it. And I think he goes in there by himself and then he leaves and he sees her talking to the head of the firm and she's like it's her and him separated, and I think it irritates him, and he gets a little I don't know. Some people say he might have gotten a little bit intoxicated and just started.
No, not some people. Only one person said that. That's not true at all.
But anyway, he kind of makes fun of them to their faces about they want to take a retreat and go skiing maybe or do something together. And he says, well, why don't you go to Aspen or Telluride
See,
and you could take a
the
private
way
jet. And he
the,
just goes overboard and embarrasses her, but she keeps a straight face.
but the way that he's been acting this whole season, I thought that was like regular behavior for him now. I didn't see that as making fun of him because
Oh, I did.
he's been acting very over the top and very
He was very over the top.
very mean this whole mean spirited this whole season.
Yeah,
So
that's
I didn't
more
really
what
see that as odd from him this season.
I guess. But she wasn't happy, but she didn't yell at him or anything. She just said that was interesting or whatever on the way home. Oh, let's see. And then I guess another thing that happened was Gus sees that the doctor shows him a video of Hector's progress and how she asked him a question, and when it's yes, he taps on the table he's sitting at. And so you know what's going to happen later. They showed it in Breaking Bad. He has a little bell, and when he says yes, he taps on the bell, but they don't show the bell. It's just this is the beginning, and he is making really good progress. And
Really?
he sends he sees that when remember last week when the doctor was testing Hector, and a nurse came in the room and she was going to bring us lunch.
No,
And
that was this week.
oh,
Sophie.
okay. Well, he knocked over his water so he could see her bend over to pick it up. And I could tell that, and anybody else could see what he was doing. And the doctor didn't realize that she thought it was a muscle spasm. But guess what? Guess who saw that too? Gus. He saw the video, and he saw that, and he actually rewound the video to that part.
I would say that was the best moment of the episode because I really like Gus's acting. So
And he had his back to the doctor, but you could see on his face that he was like, oh, well, I guess he is getting better. So guess what? He sends the
I
doctor.
think he was kind of surprised.
Well, yeah, I think so too. But he sent the doctor home and said, I think we're good now. I think we should temper our expectations. And the doctor's really surprised, but he built her a new clinic.
Okay,
So she's going back to it.
getting back to what you think about the episode.
Okay, well, if you want to rate the...
I wanted to talk about that party scene just one more.
Oh, okay.
I would say that what it really made me think of is like a soap opera. Like he's the jealous boyfriend walking around and like wishing that he was there and wishing that everything was his. I thought that's the way that the scene was portrayed and directed, because the director is one of the people who was responsible for that horrible Jessica Jones season 2, the feminist season. And so I would say that part I did not like at all. The other part I did not like was the Saul Goodman thing.
With the card,
Yeah.
the business card.
Because I think that that's supposed to be like one of the biggest moments of the show. one
how
of the
he
most
goes from
important
Jimmy
moments.
to Saul.
Completely. And so I did not like that because I thought that it should have been a much bigger moment because it's been built up over all the seasons.
Right.
Even when we saw him in Breaking Bad, you're like, why is he named Saul Goodman?
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
Right.
Because he said in Breaking Bad, that's not even my real name. So, now we can read it. I just wanted to say those two things. I don't want to really say anything else in detail because it's just going to be me tearing apart this bad episode.
Well, I gave it a 2, and that's kind of like a D. And
D plus, you'd say.
it's a D. Yeah, a D plus. I know what they're trying to do. It just there isn't much going on, and it just leaves you with a lot of questions. Why? I wrote them down. But why are they? Like we said last week, Marco found out they're only going to do 5 seasons. I don't know.
We don't know yet.
That
but
isn't official. But why? Why? Why can't you do more than 5 seasons? Why are you? And he said because somebody said because they want to make it symmetrical to Breaking Bad because it had 5 seasons. Why? This is art. You don't have to be symmetrical in art.
The reason why
What the hell?
The reason why I wanted to look that up is because I didn't want to be next year seeing, oh look, Better Call Saul 5th season coming out. The last season, what the hell? You know, I didn't want to have that kind of reaction right before it came out. So I wanted to research to see, because they've changed their stances a lot on this topic, because like last year they said they could see doing like 7 seasons because they'd like to do a season completely in the future. They'd like to do stuff that takes place during the Breaking Bad era to just show another side of the story. And so it's weird.
So I like I said, what's the rush? So because in this episode, remember, almost every episode has some kind of a time capsule, time thing where they showed one in the past, they showed one in the recent past, they showed one in the future, and away in the future. So all of it, and now this one, it actually showed time moving along in a fast forward, which is really interesting. And it wasn't fast; it was slow. They did the fast forward as they played the song. The song isn't a fast moving song; it's a skipping kind of song. It's walking kind of.
Why fast forward?
Yeah, why? So
you can fast forward a little bit, but why do you have to fast forward so much? It almost seems like a conveniency factor. Like, we don't want to write anything for this period in time, so let's just fast forward so many months because that'll be easier.
Just the episode, I gave it a 2 because it's a little sedate and cerebral, and people have got to have. You can't. I don't think people like that to make it. For me, I guess it's okay. I'm not going to give it a great review, but it's
well,
still.
I wanted to hold Safi accountable because last week she gave the episode a C.
Oh, I did that because I like the piñata sing.
And I like it too. And I think that last episode was had better stuff in it than this episode, even though I don't like the destruction of Kim's character.
And the other thing is, where's Nacho?
Yeah, I don't like the fact that he just dropped out of the season.
And well, he'll be back next week. He's all cleaned up and perfect.
His
looking.
storyline was the most interesting in the first few episodes. He had to become a double agent, and you can see from the next week there's going to be a new villain, and he's going to be really cool, I hope. Especially because Vince Gilligan is writing and directing the next episode.
Oh.
So that's something to look forward to greatly. But, yeah, I wanted to make sure that if this week was as boring and as uneventful as last week, that she would rate it worse than last week or just as much as last week, because why rate it any better than last week if it's just gonna continue being boring and uneventful like it's been?
Okay, well, what did you rate it?
I gave it a nice big F plus.
Okay, well, you already know why. He's been telling you all along, but I think we better do a spoiler, and that is with Huel
The Huel situation.
and Cam and Jimmy. What happens? Jimmy and Huel have been selling cell phones out of a van, and Huel goes to get something to eat, and this guy pulls up, and I thought he was getting in trouble when I saw the preview. I thought he was going to get in trouble with people from the cell phone store. That's what I thought. I never even thought it was a cop. Well, an undercover cop, so therefore he's wearing street clothes in a regular car because he's an undercover cop. He drives up and he says, "Are you Saul Goodman?" He has one of his cards. And he said, a drug dealer just walked out and he bought this burner phone from you, and why are you selling burner phones to drug dealers around here and other bad people? And he says, "Because I want to." And
it's not his
business.
It's not his business to know what they do with the cell phones.
Right. He's just selling them. And so
he's selling them to people who actually need them too.
Right. And so anyway, they get in a heated discussion. And where's Huel been? Well, he's been getting something to eat for lunch. He comes in. He's supposed to be Jimmy's bodyguard. So he comes up and he sees this guy from behind. He doesn't know who he is. He's plainclothes dressed, driving a plain car, and he comes up and he knocks him in the head with this bag of food, which is like lunch, like from a fast food place. And the guy falls to the ground. Well, guess what? He gets arrested. And
so let's break down the horrible writing of this scene. He conveniently has headphones on when we've never seen him wear headphones for the entirety of both seasons of Breaking Bad.
Huel is wearing headphones, right?
Yeah, he's wearing headphones.
So he didn't hear what was being said.
For the convenience factor of the scene. And the guy is just standing there waving his arms around like this,
well, he can't see.
Just waving them up and down a little bit. He's not really threatening at all. Jimmy's not threatened, you can see that. And yet Huel comes up to him and bashes him over the head with a bag of sandwiches.
Which, if you got him hit in the head with a bag of sandwiches, I don't think it's going to hurt too much.
And he knocked him on the ground, apparently. I mean, just bad writing. Bad writing.
Well, so anyway, this is a cop, and you're not supposed to touch a cop, but he didn't know it was a cop. It doesn't matter. And anyway, he gets arrested, and it's a little bit of shades of Black Lives Matter, although nobody got. I think it is.
No, it's not.
I wouldn't have known that.
No.
Except Jimmy argues with the cop and says, "Please don't do that." He didn't know it was you, that you're a cop. He says, "Yes, he did, because 3 years ago I arrested him for pickpocketing." And but the guy walked. He didn't know it was him because he walked from behind. He has headphones on, and so he didn't see or hear who he really was. So he really does have a case. So anyway, he can't talk the cop out of it, and he takes Huel in, and Huel says, "I'm not going to jail for 2 years." They want to send him away for 2 years. So Jimmy enlists the help of Kim, who's taking pro bono cases. Remember, he can't help him in a lawyer way, or he would have, I think, Marco. Remember, we talked about this where you weren't sure, but he would have helped him, I think, if he could. And he asks Kim, so she goes and talks to the prosecuting attorney, and she's done the research, somebody did, that they've had like 5 cases of people this cop arrested where they actually broke his nose, knocked him down and hurt, like knocked him out and done terrible things. And the people got off. They didn't spend a day in jail. And why is Huel having to go do 2 years of jail for this when he didn't really hurt him at all? And so she does make the case. And so anyway, to me that was interesting. And
I didn't. I thought it was contrived and stupid.
but anyway, she can't. The woman, the prosecuting attorney's a woman. She won't bend either. And she says something
And
bad about
what's
Jimmy.
funny is that she treated Kim the exact way that Kim treated the bald lawyer last week. 2 weeks ago when they were negotiating about sentencing. She treated Kim the exact way that she treated the bald guy, with like, no, I won't negotiate. This is not a discussion. He's gonna get jail time. And then last week, she was like, this is not a discussion. He's gonna have no jail time and be on probation. Like, that's what this felt like to me, like a role reversal. So there you go.
So the ending of the whole episode is, Jimmy asked Kim to help. She tried, and she did research and found out that what had happened in recent history with this cop. And she comes up with some kind of idea, we don't know what. She does the California U-turn. You'd know what I was talking about if you've been to California. And she goes back to she goes to this office supply shop, and she buys all these craft supplies, crayons and markers and pens.
And she gets an idea.
And to help, and it's supposed to be to help Huel.
And so who knows?
And we have no idea, and I have no idea.
People have already seen it though, so I don't know why they need to hear it twice.
Well, it's a spoiler alert.
Well, you're not discussing anything about it.
Well, the discussion is what is she doing? What's she going to do? What does she have in mind?
I think everybody's asking that question.
That actually could get him off from a sentencing of 2 years, which it's a pretty big deal, because to get somebody off of a sentencing of 2 years, that's a big deal. And no jail time. Maybe, I don't know.
So that's the end of the episode, everybody.
So let's see, like we said, nothing much happened, really.
Very disappointing episode, but, episode 5 was bad. Episode 6 was bad. It's only destiny that episode 7 would be bad. Who knows about next week, though? That Vince Gilligan writing and directing it, not the female director from Jessica Jones season 2.
So where's Howard? What's he doing? And where's Nacho? Is he okay? So those are questions you might want to think about. Or do you have an idea about what Kim is doing? I have no clue. I would love to know. I cannot wait to see what she's going to do.
Okay, goodbye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. We'll see you soon.